and a wonderful afternoon in Los Angeles, and early evening in New York, and good night wherever you're at in the world. Thank you for joining me again at the Power of the 72 Name weekly class. And as a reminder to all of you is that every week we are speaking about the power of the specific combination that associate with a particular week, the combination out of the 72 names, and how we can tap into their energy, to their vibration, how we can draw that energy into our life, and practically what are the lessons that are ready for us in the specific week. So this week we are connecting with two names, N.м.ם, which is connecting to or listen to your inner voice, and y.й.ל, which according to the translation in the book, it's like to remove yourself or snap out of it, if I can. I love to use this terminology. And how it's connected to this week, what's the energy that exists for us, how we can tap into it. And there's a specific lesson that I would like to share with you that we can tap into and we can learn from. Basically, I'm told that I need to put the mic a little bit further down so you'll be able to hear me better, because today it was hitting the necklace. So here we are. I hope you hear me well. So N.м.м and y.й.ל. We haven't spoken about the 72 names combination that associate with the month of Capricorn that we started 2 weeks ago. Today we are right after the full moon of Capricorn, the 15th day of the month of Capricorn, of the month of Tevet. We passed 2 weeks, and in these 2 weeks I just want to remind all of us, like, what are the 72 names that associated with the first week of the month of Capricorn, and how it's really here to help us, that it's connected with N.м.м. So the first day of Capricorn, or the first 5 days of Capricorn, correspond with the combination of Mem Bet Hey. What is that? Is so typical for Capricorns and starting a new year. Mem Bet Hey is manifestation. So here we are, started a whole new year, a whole period of time in our life, a new opportunity of new beginnings, a new way of looking at things. And what the Creator is sending us a message and a tool and support with Mem Bet Hey, which is power of manifestation. And a reminder to all of us, let's just do. The difference, or what's stopping us, if I would be more precise, what's stopping us from making our dream come true, it's just doing. It's us. It's us with our own fears and our own doubts and self-esteem and thoughts and so forth, stopping us from really manifesting our dreams, our desires, our new resolution for this year, and so our new plans for this year, and so on. And then the following 5 days of the month of Capricorn, the 72 names that correspond with this, that it's not mentioned here, but it's Pei Vav Yud, which is removing anger. And anger is a very typical emotions that it's coming up to each one of us, especially when we feel that we have not done enough, that there's a certain energy that is like kind of like blocked in us, and it's yet to be manifested out there. It's yet to be revealed to the world. Often we look at other people, how they making things in their life, how they taking steps towards fulfilling their, again, dreams, desires, and so forth. And the first emotion that is like really awakened is anger. And I've spoken about this in the past, and we've learned it from the different righteous stories, the different biblical stories, that whatever the challenges that come our way, whatever the situations that are in our life that may be the reason, or one of the reasons that stopping us from manifesting or delaying the manifestation, that there is a purpose for it, there is a reason for it, right? But yet we are falling into a different consciousness, sometimes the consciousness of victims, and anger is coming up. But anger can be also a good positive emotion where we utilizing it as a force of power to go ahead and make the steps regardless of what it is. No excuses. So these were the 272 names that controlled the first 10 days of the month of Capricorn, and then we are coming here to the next 72 names that helping us following through in what's happening in our life this week and towards till next week, till next time we're going to meet. So we have N.м.ם, which is listening to your inner voice, how we tap into this, what does it really mean? And й.й.ל, which is to remove yourself from the equation. It's like basically remove your ego, your desire for the self alone, how we overcome that or transforming that to really help us to manifest throughout the whole month. So let's talk about it even more. It's interesting that this week we are starting also a new book from the 5 books of Moses. We are starting the book of Exodus, and it's the book that or the story that describes the exile or coming out from salvation of the Israelite from Egypt moving forward in the last year of their salvation, going through the 10 plagues, if you remember, like the 10 situation or availability to come off of the mode of victim, of the mode of being slave to something or someone, and have someone control us, and connecting back with oneself, this is the exile, this is the redemption. With everything that we go through in our life, in every situation that is happening, there is always this inner voice where the Creator is speaking to us. And somehow we have this reminder this week to tap into this whispering of the Creator in our ear. Connect to your own intuition and allow that voice to guide you. The reasons that we do not hear this voice is because we are so caught up in so much external situation that's taking place. It's like what other people are saying. Am I fitting in? All those emotions and belief system that mainly refer to how I feel about myself, my self-worth. Am I good enough? I'm not good enough, and so forth. And as long as we are busy with the external conversation of people, but it's not just people, it's all in our head. It's really about that kind of like shutting down or dimming or turning off the volume of really listening to the voice of the Creator within, that messages that from time to time come in, whether through people or dreams or like the inner soul is stepping in and telling us or guiding us how to proceed, what are the steps to take. And when we are in a sense of like imbalance of emotion, and when we are losing somehow the connection with the light, we cannot hear that voice. So there's a reminder. Tap into this. Remember your connection with the Creator, and remember to maintain it and elevate your consciousness. Interesting enough, last week, and we ended the first book of the 5 books of Moses, which was the portion of י.י.ל, which talks about life. It's the book of Genesis, it's the last portion speaking about life, and immediately right after we're speaking about slavery. Very interesting. But when we speak about life in general, or whether we live or not, we have to understand that there is a message, also through N.м.ם, that the Creator is sending us, with understanding that the concept from the side of the light of the Creator, there's a constant, permanent force that of livelihood that exists, that, you know, but that always exists and surrounding us. But from our perspective, because do not have the balance, because sometimes we are connected, sometimes we're disconnected. So sometimes we will have the passion and the motivation and excitement about life, and sometimes we will be a little bit slower, and the energy will be a little bit depleted, and maybe we may feel a bit of sadness. You know, the month of Capricorn is an earth sign. There's some mood swings controlling this month of Capricorn, and sometimes we may feel up, and sometimes we will feel that we are low, but the frequency of the light doesn't change, right? We know that. So who's changing the frequency? We are. And the Kabbalists are explaining that every time that we are creating a space between us and the reality, right? Between us to the light, the space or the distance is where the force of the evil inclination, or the other side as we call it, or the force of the ego, is to block us, constantly block us, and really doesn't really allow us to experience the connection or the livelihood or the vitality, or even hear this inner voice that I just expressed. And the idea is of this week, in order to listen to the voice, in order to receive the messages, it's our job is to make sure that we are shortening the space. And what is that space that I'm talking about? Is the space of who I am today to how I feel in my life. Our feelings are controlling us in a sense, right? It makes us or happy or sad. So the space or the distance is between myself to how I feel today in my life. That space is allowing me to be in self-doubt, in anxiety, and sometimes we may awaken some self-destruction thoughts. And we need to be aware of it, especially in this week, because we need to understand that that particular reality or the space, it's only in my thoughts. It's really only in my thought. Because in the thought of creation, where the purpose of creation or the purpose of creating the vessel by the Creator is really just to share with the vessel, just to give the vessel all the time, anytime, in any way. But from our perspective, from the perspective of the vessel, it seems that sometimes life reveals themselves as good life and a lot of blessing, and sometimes not. But from the perspective of the light of the Creator, there is no distance. There is no space. There is no space. From the time of creation to the end of times, there is no space. Every moment is full of energy, energy of sharing, energy of enlightening, energy of sharing with us all abundance that exists. Because we are forgetting that we are living in a process. Our life is in a process, right? It's like from our own vision, the way we see things or the way we view things, we view it differently. We don't remember that we are living in a process. For example, you know, if we're talking a fruit, at the beginning of its evolution of the fruit, it's ripe, right? It's sour. But within this sour stage, the fruit is in an evolutionary process, as Rav Ashlag explaining in World Peace book. One of the articles, the main articles there, is like really to explain about the process of evolution. Gradually we evolving, right? And And within this process, it's allowing the fruit to become sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. But we are judging every situation in our own life in a sense that we are not identifying where we are at in our process. Sometimes we feel, oh, I'm perfect, or I've reached the destination, or I've achieved my goal, I achieved my dreams, yeah, I'm very energetic. But sometimes we have to admit that we feel different, right? Sometimes we feel I don't have an energy, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't really understand what's happening right now. What's going on? It's like, it seems that I'm or bored or I'm wasting my time, and it seems like a very negative time in my life. So we have those two emotions, two realities that we perceive, but in the real life, everything that I'm challenged with, or we are both challenged, we all challenging with it, we need to remember that the light is always there. Maybe through this process, I will learn to be a better person. I can really improve my reality. I can embrace more what I'm being challenged with right now in my life, because at this moment in life, the Creator, or the light of the Creator, is revealing itself to me right here, right now. And we need to remember that. Which means that I would like to embrace the reality I'm experiencing right now. And it's not about just getting it and like compromise. It's not about compromising. It's not about not improving. It's not about like settling for less. But the first point that I want to deliver is that we need to connect with the Creator in any situation we're going through, good, bad, and so forth. And the opposite of distance, the opposite of that space that has been created, is the power of owning. It's the moment that I'm owning the situation. Because this is the message we're receiving this week, is that when we are owning the situation, when we embracing the situation, it's understanding that the light is in the business, the light is everywhere. You know, it's like when we are walking in the street with someone, and you are maybe feeling embarrassed to walk with him, and you introduce him to someone else, and you say, yeah, he's my friend, yeah, I know him, he's acquaintance, but I'm not really owning the relationship in 100%. Instead of saying, yeah, this is my friend, this is my best friend actually. This is owning. There's no separation between me to my friend. This is how in our life, in our thoughts, our thoughts create the space between myself to my family, between myself to my friends. You know, I may go through a difficult time right at the moment, but in my head, in my mind, I'm not owning my reality in 100%. So we may say, I hope that things will be better, and you know, I hope that this situation will pass by because I don't really like it. It's okay that you're going through a bad situation. You know, we may say all different things, but then the most important thing is like to own the moment. Own the moment. This is exactly what I need to experience, because it's exactly what I need to go through in order to reveal the specific light that is ready to be revealed to me right now. And that is going to help me to elevate myself, to overcome. And the light sometimes is being revealed through your inner voice. So the fact that I'm not hearing my voice, I don't hear the connection with the light of the Creator, is because our doubt and our hesitation, we may say, you know, it should have been that, it should have been this way. It's like, oh my God, I've made such a big mistake. This is why I'm suffering so much. Like sometimes there are times that when I speak with, let's say, a business person, and he says, I wish I will be even more successful. I wish I will make more money. I wish I will be this and that. It's exciting and great that someone has a great desire like this. It's not wrong. But the wishing thing sometimes also creating space. Why? Because the first thing is to own the moment that I'm here right now. Where you are in your life at the moment, this is the best for you. This is the best for you. So if we are not owning this, we're not connected with the light of the Creator. The owning aspect, this is the connection to the light. We are not recognizing the goodness of the light of the Creator. And this is the stage where from owning, we move into the next stage of taking responsibility. And this is like the very important understanding. Like, for example, there was a story about Jacob, that Jacob lived 130 years. The first 130 years of his life, he knew that all those 130 years, with all the experience that he went through in his life, with getting the first woman wrong, and then the second woman, and then with the kids, and then his father-in-law, and all the challenges he had from the moment he had with his brother. 130 years he lived. He knew that all those years are there because he needed to correct the sin of Adam. And what does it mean to correct? Is really to dive into the klipot, into the darkness, into the shell, and awaken and retrieving the light, the sparks of the light that is like infinite, unlimited light. And Jacob knew because he owned his 130 years of his life. It doesn't matter how much spiritual we are. There are always two periods in our life. It can be 130 years, because later Jacob lived 17 years with full livelihood and vitality according to the script. So our two periods can be like 1 month and 1 day. It can be 2 years and 7 years. It depends. Like, sometimes we start in a business and we may have like amazing consciousness, but we are being challenged, right? And we are challenged, and then we look at another person and we say, oh, that person doesn't have that consciousness, and he has millions. The message is, don't never compare your corrections. Don't ever compare your corrections with other people. Own what you have. We don't know what we have done or other people have done in previous lifetime. We don't know what is the process we're going through right now. And the idea is, like this week, is to go through, because of like also the various astrological signs that exist, like astrological situations happening with the retrogression of some planets and so forth. If you had the chance to hear our astrologers yesterday for the full moon. And so we know that we're still in a place where the past is coming back and looking into past actions or situations. So it's exactly the message we're getting from the 72 names, is like own your difficulty, own the bad and own the good, okay? Because with both situations, the light has been revealed to us no matter what. And the fact that I'm only owning and embracing the good, we will never be able to maintain that good, the light that has been revealed from that good situation. So we are here also to clean the past. And we don't know why we have challenges. We don't know why we have those situations in our life, but we know one thing. We know that the light of the Creator exists in every moment in our life. And this is why when a sadness comes up or some sort of a difficulty that is coming up, it's like really explaining that we reach a certain klipa or a certain shell, a certain layer. And then when we are waking up and we say to ourselves, oh, I really need this in my life. I really need this in my life. It's not like how I'm receiving the situation. It's like I need this situation to be a perfect me, a perfected version of myself, okay? So owning. It's the message of this week is owning, is to understand that, and some people say, how do I know that this situation needs to be in my life? How do you know? It's happening. It's taking place in your life because it's appearing in your life, and therefore you need to go through this. But again, not to go through this because of like, oh, what can I do? I have nothing else. Just do. No, with excitement, says that, okay, I'm taking on this because I'm willing to remove the space between myself to the unlimited reality that is there for me, that I want to tap into, especially now, beginning of a new year. We all want to tap into a wonderful new reality, right? To be shown to us with no limitation, no fears, and so forth. So N.м.ם and y.й.ל. So how y.й.ל, what does it mean? Get out of it, or snap out of it, or remove yourself. What does it mean to remove myself? Remove my ego, remove my desire for the self alone from the conversation. Rav Ashlag explained in the past that from the light perspective, I may not have even had to go through all these challenges. But from the perspective of my spiritual work, I needed to take responsibility and learn from mistake. And it's not about feeling guilty, because feeling guilty creates a space. So first stage is of removing the space between myself to the unlimited reality that is there for us, and clearing for us so much, and even ability to listen to the messages, is to own my the reality that I have here, own the reality. The second thing that we have, which connect with y.й.ל, is when we're removing our desire for the self alone, when we identify our ego, when we identify the doubt, the self-pity, and the thinking small. Okay, the thinking small. It's called מודעות של קטנות. It's the consciousness of smallness. And what we are learning here is that if we would like to receive the power of vitality, of manifestation within ourselves, if we want to connect to the power of the light, if we want to hear the light, if we want to have this force that will help us to continue push further and further and forward, and to always pay attention that your desire is increasing and growing in every area in your life. In your emotional area, in your relationship area, in your spiritual area, in happiness, in financial, in making a change area, in expansion of your limitation area. You want to have a great desire to increase in each area, really increase the desire to be more, to do more. And the Rav Berg always shared about the idea that the universe wants to give us more and more and more and more, and what we're saying, no, it's too much for us, I cannot handle this, I really just want to receive what's there and less, because all this pressure is too difficult for me, because we want freedom. But what we are doing instead, we are pushing away the light, and we are connecting to the consciousness of katnut, which is the consciousness of smallness. The light wants to give us more and more and more, and we are creating in our life pressure, anxiety, and lack of happiness, because the life wants to enter into our life, and we are blocking We are blocking the light to come in because I'm thinking small. So the idea of allowing the light force to be in our life, to renew us, to make us happy, to connect, it's all the time to expand our desire in everywhere. So й.й.ל is really there to help us to increase that desire, okay? To increase that desire. And it's like, this is like the main message that we are receiving this week. And I would like to read a section from the Zohar just to connect to the level of increasing our desire and much more. So I'm going to read from the portion of this week. And I'm going to read from section 99, verse 99. Okay, בהוא זמנה, יתאר מלכה משיחה, לנפקה מגו גינתה עדן. מהו אתר דיקרא כן ציפור, ויתאר בהרעה דגליל, והוא יומה דיפוק לתמן, יתרגז הכל העלמקו, וכל בני העלמים מתחברין גו מרתי ותנרי, דהי חושבן להשתזבה, ועל ההוא זמנה כתיב, ובאו במארות צורים ומחילות עפר, מפני פחד השם והדר גאונו, בקומו לערוץ ארץ. The thing is, it's part of an article that's speaking about the Messiah period, the time that the revelation of the energy or the consciousness of peace and harmony in the world is like, this is really basically the time where people of all humanity will elevate their consciousness in the sense of seeing the light within, owning. Imagine that a group of people with everyone that lives on this planet will really own the times that we are challenged, and removing the space between ourselves to the Creator, between ourselves to myself, between myself to the reality that it's there, which is the reality of Messiah, the reality of harmony. Wouldn't it be like amazing and beautiful? So really entering this period of time of understanding more and more the responsibility that we have, and we have the support to really tap into this energy, to understand more with the power of the 72 names of God. Because, just to summarize and understand what does it mean like a big desire versus a small desire, is because when I have a big desire in every area in my life, a big desire for what? To reveal the light that exists. Therefore, I'm like very excited, very enthusiastic. And so therefore, when time that is some difficulty, I own it because I know that I want more and I need to go through a process like that. And I don't take it in a sense of guilt or, oh my God, what's happening and I'm falling. Rather, I'm owning, right? When we have a smaller desire, when we maybe settle for less, or we don't own, we don't have the power to really own the moment. It's not because I need this energy. I'm saying that the reason is that I'm going to experience this in my life. So when we're going through a difficult time in our life, it's exact process that is taking place. It's exactly like the fruit in each one of us, a precise force that allowing us consciously or not. It's like a process of pregnancy and a process of giving birth. There is a process that is taking place that is expanding our vessel, that is enlarging our vessel, is strengthening our desire, that creating a constant appreciation, a long-term appreciation of what we're going through, that I don't want to give up. And I don't want to just jump over this period of time, like maybe pressing a button that I want to erase this period of time. The moment my reactiveness is, I don't want this anymore, I cannot handle the situation anymore, the space is there. But in fact, there is an expansion of my vessel, and we say, I want more. Okay, because we forgetting that our process is about expansion of our vessel, and we need to remember that we need to own it, the moment, we need to appreciate, and we need to come from a place of certainty with the light of the Creator. And even though it's difficult, I wanted more. And as a result to it, you're gonna really draw to yourself. We will draw to ourselves energy of life, energy of excitement, energy of happiness. And we'll be able to hear the voice, the inner voice. We'll be able to be guided by the Creator. We always guide by the Creator, but then we will tap into this. You know, the Rav explained that the moments that we are kind of passing on, you know, that we are not focusing on, that we are saying, that we're not really acknowledging that good things exist for us in their concealment, we really like missing out. We're missing out, and we don't understand what is the spiritual process that we're going through. So with the power of N.м.ם and the power of Y.י.L, we can tap into this freedom out of slavery that we just started. Thank you very much for joining me today. I always would like to hear from you, and you can connect with me with rachel.madar@kabbalah.com for any questions or any awakening of information that you have, any experiences that you went through by applying of what we just shared, or any story. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week.